started less than an hour ago. People started turning out around 9:45 this morning, and I would say we have more than 1,000 people.
Los Angeles is burning again. Raids, riots, soldiers in the streets. This isn't history. It's happening now. What caused the chaos? Who's to blame? Witness the truth they don't want you to see. The city of Los Angeles is in crisis.
Breaking news at 5, U.S. Marines on the ground in downtown Los Angeles. The Marines guarding the federal building while wearing combat gear and carrying rifles.
Yeah, a live look at downtown where a dusk to dawn curfew remains in effect. Last night, the third night of the curfew, 33 people were arrested. Tomorrow could be intense, 25,000 people.
In June 2025, what started as peaceful protests quickly turned into chaos. People were angry about recent ICE raids across Los Angeles County. Many believed those raids were unfair and targeted hard-working immigrants. At first, crowds gathered downtown to express their frustration. But by nightfall, things had already started to get out of control. It all began on Friday, June 6th. Federal immigration officers raided several workplaces. Dozens of workers were arrested. Many of them were immigrants who had lived in the U.S. for years. Families were torn apart. Videos of the arrests spread quickly online. That same evening, large crowds gathered outside government buildings. Tensions rose as some protesters threw bottles and bricks. Police responded with rubber bullets and tear gas. By Saturday, the protests had spread to other parts of the city. More people joined Paramount and Compton. Some blocked traffic and surrounded stores. The police declared the protests unlawful and used more tear gas. Governor Gavin Newsom strongly disagreed with the federal response. He said California had not agreed to the military presence. He even threatened legal action against the federal government. Things got worse when President Trump sent in the National Guard. Around 2,000 troops were deployed to Los Angeles County. Later, the military confirmed that 700 active-duty Marines were also being sent in. People were shocked. It felt like a war zone. Soldiers stood guard near city buildings. Many residents stayed inside, scared to go out. Sunday, June 8th, was the most intense day. Thousands of people filled the streets. They marched from City Hall to the Federal Detention Center. Emotions were high. Around 4 p.m., protesters blocked the 101 freeway. Police began arresting people. Reporters and journalists were also in the crowd. A rubber bullet hit one Australian reporter. The video of her injury went viral.
Those protests were happening. An Australian reporter was shot with a rubber bullet while reporting live on the unrest in Los Angeles, and it was caught on camera. Here's the video.
You just shut the
That evening, violence exploded. Some protesters lit fires in trash cans and dumpsters. Several self-driving Waymo cars were set on fire. Flames filled the streets with black smoke. People threw rocks and fireworks at officers. Police fired back with more tear gas and rubber bullets. Buildings near City Hall and LAPD headquarters were covered in graffiti. Some messages were angry, some were heartbreaking. Over 40 people were arrested for vandalism and fighting. Monday brought more fear and confusion. Armed soldiers surrounded federal buildings. Protesters kept returning, determined not to stay silent. More than 100 immigrants were reportedly arrested. Among them were at least 35 people from Mexico. Thrown bottles hurt some police officers. A photographer from New York was hit in the face by a rubber bullet. He was trying to take pictures on the freeway. The city looked like a battleground. In Compton and other areas, more fires were started. Protesters clashed with state troopers. Helicopters flew above the city all night. Police wore riot gear and stood in lines across streets. For many people, the noise and fear were too much. Families kept their kids inside. Some stores closed early. Others were looted and damaged. Leaders from all sides gave statements. President Trump called the protesters criminal mobs. He praised the National Guard and said the military would restore order. Governor Newsom was furious. He called Trump's actions illegal and dangerous. He filed a lawsuit against the federal government. Mayor Karen Bass asked for peace. She said the community needed healing, not more conflict. The LAPD said they were doing their best. Police officers were tired. They had been working non-stop for 4 days. Some said the protests were peaceful until they were broken up by force. Others blamed outsiders for turning things violent. Federal agents said they were only protecting buildings, but many locals disagreed. Underneath the noise, there were human stories. Families cried as their loved ones were taken away in immigration vans. Small children asked why soldiers were outside their homes. A woman shared her story of losing her brother during a raid. Legal immigrants rushed to help officers who had been hurt. One man used his own shirt to stop a police officer's bleeding. People who had nothing to do with the violence helped clean up burned areas. This was more than just a protest. The events in Los Angeles were a sign of something deeper. People are tired of injustice. They feel ignored and mistreated. The city is divided between those who want law and order and those who demand real change. Immigrant communities are afraid. At the same time, many feel stronger and more united than ever before. As the days go on, Los Angeles is at a turning point. Will the troops stay in the city? Will more people be arrested? Will the lawsuits change anything? These are the significant concerns. But at the center of it all, there's a deep desire for peace. People want to feel safe again. They want to go to work, raise their kids, and live without fear. Despite the damage, the city still has hope. Volunteers have come out to clean the streets. Local leaders are trying to calm things down. Churches and community centers are offering help. Some businesses, even after being looted, are giving out free meals. In a time of crisis, the people of LA are showing strength. Los Angeles has been tested many times before. The city has seen everything from earthquakes to wildfires to past riots. This moment is one more test, but there is faith that LA will recover. It may take time. The wounds are fresh. The anger is real. But healing can happen when people come together. The streets are quiet for now. Soldiers are still watching. Police cars are still driving by. But the fires are out, and the protests are shrinking. What comes next depends on how leaders act and how the community responds. One thing is sure, the city will never forget what happened in June 2025. This is not just a story about Los Angeles. It's a story about justice, about fear, about courage, and most of all, about people. Real people who want to be heard, who want to be treated fairly, and who refuse to stay silent. If you care about truth, justice, and real stories from the streets of America, like this video, subscribe to the channel and stay informed with powerful, raw, and human content.